All right. Well, hello, Paradigm Shifters. Woo! Welcome to Transformation Tuesday. Wow, Transformation Tuesday for November 22, 2022. Let's take a deep breath into this moment in time. This Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022. And this is a very special day for me and my family. This is the day that 50 years ago, my daughter was born. 50 years, right? So Paradigm Shifters is a global community, growing global community dedicated to shift and uplift the planet. How's that sound? How's that for it? And we're a little over 1,500 people right now and 56 countries. And this November topic is courage to change the things I can. So Tomomi, unmute yourself a second or forever. And our guest, you can unmute yourself, Tomomi, and there you go. So our guest speaker today with our topic, courage to change the things I can, is my friend and colleague, Tomomi Ito. And let me tell you, you've been on here before, right? Yes?
Yes.
There you go. Wow, look, where are you anyway?
Now I am zooming in from Tulum, Mexico.
There you go. The ocean's in the back. Well, a little bit
Yes.
about you. I did not know this, but you're a former English instructor.
Yes.
That was in Japan.
Yes. Yeah.
And then also you're a cruise director at the Star of Honolulu. And when you were a cruise director for one of the world's largest cruise lines, you captured the hearts of hundreds of thousands of passengers around the world. Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. So your charismatic onboard seminars filled up quickly, and you were even asked to hold a seminar at a 5-star hotel in Dubai, and that you've been featured in various print and TV media highlighting her time on the ship. So I know that you've been busy since all of that. And I love this quote that you have is that the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah. You know what? Before we start, I really am curious. Back in the 80s, we had a foreign exchange student from Japan live with us for a year. And one of the things that what I would love to have you do is, you know, the bow. Your bow. Could you tell us how you say the bow in Japan and why that is important when you greet someone?
Well, we don't really bow like this in Japan. Really, it's kind of like a stereotype thing. But there are 3 ways to bow, and I would like to show you the most polite way of bowing. Is that okay with you?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So okay. So we bow 90 degrees. That is the most polite bowing. Yep. And then we go 90 degrees and then wait for 1, 2, 3, and then come back. Yeah, that is the politest bow. And I love that because, you know, now here I'm in Tulum, Mexico, and learning all this like Mayan cultures and stuff too. But there are these like ruins that you really need to, like the door is so small that you have to vow to go inside the door. because they are vowing to the gods too. But I feel like, for us to be able to like vow like 90 degrees is like really like vowing your greatness, right? Your unlimited potential. And sometimes I like to vow like that to show the respect, because if you just go like this, it's like finished, right? But if you go 90-degree and pause for 3 seconds, you can really show the respect. And you can think of that person for extra 3 more seconds. So yeah, that's what I like to do.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. And so the other thing that my children would watch, the extension
Ooh.
fold, is the origami. Did you do origami? Do you do origami when you grew up? And I recently started to fold origami cranes, but there's a story that goes with the 1,000 cranes.
Huh?
It's a fairly new story to me, and I was wondering if you know that story and you can tell. It's like, to me, it's a global story, but could you tell us that story?
Is that the atomic bomb related?
The one for the 1,000 cranes, where the little girl is folding the 1,000 cranes.
Yeah, so the story that I know is that this girl named Sadako, who was one of those girls who went through the atomic bomb in Hiroshima, and she was very sick. And then she started holding cranes, and also like family and friends started folding this origami paper crane, so that when they have 1,000 cranes, then she'll be fine instead of being really sick. But she ended up dying. But once like we does that when people are sick, or like we want people to be healthy, and also like every single year, I think students in Japan, they go to school trip to Hiroshima or Nagasaki to learn about the world peace. And yeah, and that's when we bring all these like 1,000 cranes to hope for the better world and more peaceful world.
There you go. I love it. So that segue into like our topic is courage to change the things I can. And I know that you've been hopping all over the world and the country since October when I saw you. And tell us
Yeah.
about your courage to change and adapt and be flexible.
Yeah, well, now I am so empowered by all the things that I'm learning and implementing in my life, that before I know this concept, I thought I need to make a big decision to start doing anything. However, I learned that no, like you don't wait for the big moment to make decision or anything like that. All you have is today and this moment, and what you can do today is really the courage to change what I can, instead of I'm gonna wait until I am perfect. Right. So I am really in order to do that, I've been leaning really into my intuition and listening to my longing and discontent. And yeah, so I was in Dallas with Judy end of October, and I was supposed to go to Toronto after that as a guest speaker for a seminar. And then I was supposed to go home. However, I listened to this intuition saying that you need a rejuvenation. You are working so hard and putting so much pressure on yourself. And then I lean into that, and then 7 different people talked to me about this shroom thing. And then I'm like, huh, interesting. And I was kind of like rejecting the idea of going because I was supposed to go home already and I don't have a summer clothes, and I all packed up for the Dallas and the Toronto and the winter clothes. And so there are things that, like I need to change my flight and all these things and change my work. But I lean into what I really want and what is, universe is trying to tell me instead of what's going on outside of myself. And then I made one thing possible, one after another. And I am here in room. And and I really feel like when you decided to do the things that you can, even though it's not, the full step is not revealed yet, but when you just decide to take one step that you can take today and let go, that all the rest will fall into places, like that's when I feel like that's the magic of being one to yourself.
Oh, that's beautiful, beautiful. So tell me about the time, or what are some of the limiting beliefs or that you've had or possibly have now, and how did you overcome those to get right where you are?
Thank you.
Oh,
I
thank
think
you for being on with your yeah, take as much water as you need. Yeah.
thank you. Yes. What I'm hearing is coming from the future memory. Yeah, coming from the future memory. So once again, if you're coming from the memory now, I mean, like what's going on right now in the circumstances, that is your circumstance now is that you made in the past, right? With your past intention and your past thinking and action. So coming from the future memory, which is what I want to create in my life. And always coming from the future memory to make decision, coming from the future memory to coming from the future memory and ask the question that what I can do today, like right now, has been a big step for me. And if I skip this part, then I am stuck.
Can you tell us a story about possibly when you were younger and you tapped into that and you made decisions?
I think when I was younger, I wanted to work on a cruise ship, but my grandfather was typical grandpa in Japan who believed that working for government is the best way to work. And so there is, pensions and stable job. You never get fired unless you're gonna be like really bad at your job. And so he was like, why do you want to even work on a cruise ship? Like, I mean, like it's not grounding at all. Like you're gonna go to places and then it's not even a proper job. And being an only child and only grandchild, I think he just wanted to be close with him too. But he was like really telling me that I will pay you, I will give you money to go to this school and so that you can pass this test and you can work for the Japanese government and you can have a safe, stable job and you don't have to worry about anything. And every single time he told me that story, I was crying because that's not the jobs that I want to do. I know that is really not that job. It doesn't really fit my personality, and I want to go is fly away and see the world and be able to speak English well, and so that I can talk to people not only Japanese people, but people around the world, and I'm gonna have an amazing experience. But I was very young too, and in Japan we were told to be humble. So like people older than you knows better because they are more experienced, and they tend to like look at you like like you have no idea, like you are still a baby. So I wanted to be humble, and I wanted to be, I wanted to listen what adults or people older than me have to say. But the more I try to be humble, the more I try to listen to others, um, I felt like I am not being myself. And yeah, and then, and always like he made me cry and stuff. And then I realized this is coming from love, right? My father, out of love, he's saying all this. But I realized, where is the love for myself? Right?
So,
I've been
Tomomi, I want to ask you too about what about your friends and the girls around you in Japan? Um, were you different? And the reason I asked that was with our exchange student, for her to spend a whole year with an American family was a real risk for her parents, but they did it anyway. But she would tell me these stories about standing out and being different in her school in Japan. So were you like, is that typical, or was that something that you had to make a decision about with your friends?
Yeah, I definitely don't fit in Japan because in Japan it's all it's all about group. You don't want to stand out. Yeah, like you look like everybody, you think like everybody, you do what everybody do. Yeah, but because of that, so many people are like social pressure of, okay, I'm supposed to do this way, I have to do this because everybody else is doing this. Well, this is what my parents told me. So like everybody is trying to like fit in this like you can really see it, but there's some sort of like boundaries that like you kind of like put into put yeah and then yeah, and then that's why there is the highest rate of suicidal in Japan because we can't really live our life. We are living somebody else's life or somebody else's expectation.
Oh, that's I just wanted to ask you about that to see if that had I really admired I really admired her, but I really admired her parents that would let her do that. But the other thing that she would tell me too is that in her country, like you said, it was groups, and the teachers would come in and teach while the group sat there. And in our country, where she went to high school, the kids are like moving around, and it's like it was a social kind of a really different culture shock. But tell me more a little bit about that. I'm just so curious about the educational system, and what is it what is it that was in you that decided, no, this is my way? When was that point that you made that decision?
Well, when I realized that I can't take this social pressure anymore, or like yeah, it's been just too much. And discontent for a longest time, right? Of just becoming me. I feel like I can be authentic. Like I need to become authentic. And in order for me to become authentic, I decided to leave the country and create a physical distance between me and people who have this traditional way of thinking.
So
Yeah.
now you're out traveling the world and speaking and teaching and coaching all over the world. So here's a question. How do you want to be remembered? I know you've made a tremendous impact to everyone that I know, from all the world, but how do you, what would you love to be remembered?
Mm.
Mm.
Wow, deep question. I think I have a feeling that people remember my smiles and my light. That I don't really see myself because I am the sunshine, so I can't really see my sunshine. But I have a feeling that people will remember that light.
There you go. And how does it feel to be the light?
Normal, because that's yeah, I don't really do extra things. But I guess in order for me to be like this, I think there are so many things that I did, but now I feel like this is my new norm.
And if you could give have a tool, one tool that you would love to just give us to have us keep shining, this courage to change the things we can in the darkness, like what is a tool that you'd love to give us?
Mm. Like I said, future memory. So future memory meaning that, what you want to create and coming from that. Yeah. And if you are coming from the present and if you're coming from the past, then there is kind of like limited. But future memory is like unlimited, right? You get to do anything. You can be anywhere. You can be with anybody. And then when you like use your imagination, and then when you come from there, like you unconsciously change your vibration, and then the way you speak or the way you talk or the way you hold yourself will be different, and that can be the light to others.
Oh, that's
when
perfect.
you are connected.
Such a light. Well, one last question is that we love to ask. What is it that you would love us as our community all over global hold for you? What is it that you would love, Tomomi, for us to hold for you?
Oh, thank you, Judy, and all the paradigm shifters around the world. Whoops, sorry, my cell phone. What I would like you all to hold for me is so that I can be the beautiful light to the people that who don't know what their future memory is. So some people have no idea what I want in my life. And people who knows what I know, what I want to go, like they have the place to go, they know which directions they want to go to. But I would like to be a beautiful light. It's kind of like a nose and star for people who are now, they don't even know what they want to do because they are so pressured by what they have to do, what I'm supposed to do. And then, you know, for especially for those people that who's being living up somebody else's expectation, and they use so much power, so much of energy, so much of their energy to make sure that everyone else is fine. But up until now, they haven't been able to, you know, really take time to really how they can make themselves happy in their own lives. So yeah, if you can hold for me that I'll be the beautiful light, beautiful compass, beautiful navigator for those people to really lean into their unlimited potential by me vowing 90-degree, really seeing their greatness, and so that they believe in my belief that there are things that they want to do, and that's aligned with who they are, and they can create a completely new life that they absolutely love living, and so that I can help them create an absolute happiness that no matter what happens in their lives, that, you know, their heart is not swayed. They have this strong grounding in themselves that they know where they're going and they know they can get there. And they always have this peace and confidence in themselves.
Oh, all right. So we're going to send you some energy. Okay. Total.
Thank you.
Light. Here you go. And these we're going to add to your light and totally see. Wow. What a beautiful, beautiful vision. Here you go. You ready?
Yes.
Love receiving.
I receive. I fully received.
You fully receive. And so I would love to just do a 90-degree bow to you. And
thank you.
yes, thank you so much for being here and for sharing yourself and your light with us. Thank you so much.
And I love that, especially when like Caucasian people do it. Like I love that because they're more like, hey, but like when you do the 90-degree, wow, that's wow. I felt so much respect. Thank you so much.
Well, I thank you so much for teaching us, teaching me how to do that. I had no idea. It's like a high five. Only degrees.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, we love you. What a light. Thank you for being here.